I don't know how to do this, and I'm aware that I have a very monotone voice, and I can't do anything about that. My name is Jamie, and I can't get a job. So what am I doing? I made a YouTube channel because we need so many more of them. What better to do than just sit down and chat some shite? Because I've got a lot of that. I mean, I don't have a lot of talents, but I do have a talent of talking. So I'm going to try and do a quick story time of how I got scouted and became a model. Yes, I was a model. I worked in kind of the high fashion editorial sector, and if you don't believe me, fuck you. But also here's some proof. And it was really fun. I don't really do it as much anymore. And I feel like I've learned a lot. I feel like I know a lot more about the modelling industry from working within it. And there's a lot of things that I wish I could have told myself when I started out. Because I've not done that many jobs. I've done like 10. If that, girl, let's be real. But they have been with some pretty cool brands and cool names, so I can't really complain. But I just thought I'd speak about how I did get scouted because it kind of is a testament of everything happens for a reason. And also, if you like want to do something and you try really hard, maybe you won't. Maybe you won't do it, but something could happen where it could lead to something else. Or it could lead to, I don't know, what the fuck am I trying to say? Hello? What I'm trying to say is everything happens for a reason. And in this like instant of me kind of trying to get into modelling, everything did happen for a reason because I kind of reflect on it and I'm like, damn. So picture this. It's my first year of university at the University of Liverpool and it's approaching the end of the year. And I had to stay in Liverpool a bit longer than everyone else because I had a job. I worked for a well-known supermarket and it was fucking diabolical, can I add? So it's approaching the end of the year and it's around May. And at the end of May, I actually ended a long-term relationship that I was in. So not only was everyone leaving me in Liverpool, I also was dealing with that. And I'd kind of been told a lot throughout first year that I should look into modelling or try modelling. And it kind of always just went over my head. I was like, oh, that's a nice thing for someone to say, but it doesn't really seem that realistic. In the past, I'd always sent off pictures to agencies in the likes of London.
London?
And never heard anything back. So I did kind of think it was just a dream to potentially do it. And also, I was fucking ugly as a child. So I was like, there is no way this could ever be a fucking model because those teeth are goofy as hell. But anyway, everyone started to leave and I was left in Liverpool by myself working a job that I hated. And at that point, I don't really think I'd made a lot of friends there because a lot of the people were scouse and older. So yeah, I'm just living my life alone in Liverpool. It was fucking lonely. And then I had to move into my second year house. And even that was quite lonely and isolating because I had a massive house all to my fucking self and I had no one to speak to. I was just waking up, going on a walk, going to work, coming back, making food and doom scrolling. So yeah, that was my life for quite a few weeks and it got to a point where I was kind of craving social interaction. So I did the most unthinkable thing possible through the spite of loneliness and I went on Omegle, which I don't know what I was expecting because I was met with a lot of hostility, dicks, and insults. I didn't go on there for any of that. I just wanted to find someone to speak to because although I had a lot of friends around me, it's still quite isolating. And I always say there's a difference between feeling alone and feeling lonely because no one's ever alone. There's always someone out there that cares about you. But at that time, I just remember feeling really down and lonely. And then I chose to go on Omegle like that was going to help me. Look at me. I'm literally so fucking easy to insult. And if you have been on Omegle before, you'll know that when you go onto a new conversation, a lot of the times it can be a blank screen and that's kind of suspicious because you don't know what's behind that blank screen. But because I was being fucking hounded so much by people who had the cameras on, I was like, maybe there's a really nice person hiding behind one of these blank screens. Maybe it's another dick, but maybe it's a really nice person. So then whenever it would go on to someone, I'd just be like, hi, kind of get like a little vibe and then usually skip because it would be fucking weird and they'd be asking how old I was. But one blank screen came up and immediately caught my attention because the first thing they said was, oh my God, are you a model? And we all know I was feeling quite shit and lonely at this point. So I was like, me? Oh my God. Am I a model? No. It caught my attention immediately because it was just nice for someone to kind of look at me and say that. Especially after so many people were ripping me to fucking shreds and calling me ugly and laughing in my face. Hello.
Hello.
So anyway, I struck up a bit of a conversation with this person. We were getting on quite well. And then they revealed themselves from behind the camera, and it was fucking Bella Hadid. It wasn't Bella Hadid. But they have worked with Bella Hadid, so hey, might as well. I mean, I'm one person closer to Bella Hadid. On the other side of the camera was a fucking supermodel, and they were called Fish. One of the big things that was putting me off was my height. I don't know if a lot of people know, but to do kind of high fashion and runway, if you think about it, for fashion weeks, everything's made to wear and ready to wear. So it's made for a specific body and a specific measurement. So if you don't fit that measurement, there's like so many other boys that they could potentially choose, and it's just easier because a lot of the times in fashion week it's all very last minute. Like the casting's 2 days before the show, the looks, all of the makeup, blah 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 blah, like it's very hectic. So it's a lot easier for a casting director and a brand just to find someone who matches the requirements rather than picking someone who's a bit smaller, because then you'd have to alter all of the outfits, etc. So for male models, they're usually like people at a height of around 186 centimeters, which is 6'1", and I'm 180, which is literally just about 5'11", and that was a thing that really made me be like, I don't think it's ever gonna work. So Fish was really kind of kind and helped motivate me, and at this point I had just been rejected by a few agencies, and because I was feeling quite low with living in Liverpool alone and not really seeing a lot of people, I just don't think I had the motivation to apply. So I think I went like radio silent for a few weeks, and we didn't really speak that much until I got like the biggest kick up the arse from the fucking universe. Basically, I invited a few friends over to stay with me in Liverpool, and we were supposed to all be going out together. And I say supposed to because I blacked out like very early on in the night. I don't even remember drinking that much. I had like one of these, and I did drink quite a lot of it. I don't really remember how much I drank. It was so funny because whilst we were preying, I was completely fine, and I like remember all of it. And I remember getting up to go to the Uber and falling on the floor, and I don't even remember how I fell, but that is genuinely the last thing I remember, falling on the floor. I don't remember getting into the Uber. I don't remember leaving the house. I don't remember a thing. Which is really scary, by the way. Blacking out is fucking terrifying. And thank God I had a lot of good friends around me that looked after me. Apparently, I don't remember this, but we made it to the first bar, and I've seen the videos. So fucking embarrassing. I just went straight upstairs and started throwing up. Don't remember any of it. I don't really remember how long we were there for in the bathroom. The decision was made that I needed to go home, and that was a fucking correct decision. Like, thank you, fucking Jesus. Don't remember getting home. However, I have seen a video of me in the Uber, and I have a very, very slight memory of throwing up in the Uber, because I don't know if I sobered up because I knew I was going to throw up. I just remember putting my hand over my mouth and throwing up, and all of it just dripping down me. Now, I know this is random, but it is context to the story of how I did end up modelling. And I remember the day after I woke up and I was like, why the fuck have I done that? This has been like the biggest mistake of my life. But little did I know, it was kind of a snowball effect. It was kind of, what's the saying? Girl, I don't fucking know. I remember waking up the next day and I was so rottenly hungover. I genuinely have never, ever had as bad of a hangover than I did following this day. And I actually had work that day at 4 p.m. So I was trying so hard all day to kind of get up, sober up, feel a bit better. And I failed. So I mustered up the courage to phone my work and call in sick. So luckily I felt better the next day and I went into work. And as soon as I walked through the door, it was straight to the fucking manager's office. He took me into his office and honestly, he just clocked me. He genuinely just clocked me. Like, he basically accused me of being hungover for not coming in. And I don't know why I got so mad, because he was fucking right. But I just remember him being so fucking rude. And it really pissed me off. So I was in a foul mood for the rest of the shift. He kind of like gave me a smack on the arse and told me not to do it again. Metaphorically. So I went on with my day, was fucking fuming, stacking the bread in the bakery aisle. I was so fucking annoyed and I was like, get me the fuck out of here. I hate it here so much. And then I got home. I was already feeling a bit shit because of everything that was going on the night before. getting my fucking ass handed to me at work, and I just thought, I do not want to fucking do this anymore. I'm just going to apply to loads of modelling agencies and see what happens. I applied to 5, I think, and I had 3 come back to me. 2 of them being Manchester based, and then one of them being an abroad agency, and that's the one that Fish recommended to me, and is actually the agency that I ended up signing with, funnily enough. So genuinely, all of it was because of Fish, because we met on Amigo because I was fucking depressed, and they really encouraged me to apply and to kind of follow the accounts and maybe try and get in touch with the owner of the agency. And there's a lot more stories for me to tell following me being scouted, to do with my first job, some jobs that I've had that have been a fucking nightmare, especially Milan Paris week. Oh my God, I don't even want to think about that. And kind of the experiences that I've had. A lot of it is just luck and being in the right place at the right time. And thankfully that worked out for me, because the first brand that I worked with was Celine. And I always kind of got compared to being a Celine model, but obviously they were looking for someone who kind of had my look at that time. If I applied maybe 6 months earlier, they probably wouldn't have wanted me, because I wouldn't have been like the vision, if that makes sense, for that time period. So a lot of it is just luck, and that kind of leads to the whole everything happens for a reason trope. And yeah, I'm just super grateful. It was such a fun experience. Like I said, I don't really model that much anymore, but I say I've always had good experiences, and for the most part I have. There's been some fucking horror stories though. So if you want to hear more about that, and then subscribe, like the video, let me know. If you got any questions, ask me, I'll answer. Maybe I'll do a little Q&A, I don't know. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully it wasn't too much of a fucking ramble for you to listen to. If you want to potentially hear more stories or ask any questions, comment below, subscribe, and I'll see you soon, honey. Thank you. Bye bye.